Now what are you doing?
All right, so now we're gonna make a broiled chicken recipe.
Okay.
You wanna go ahead and make that now?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And I need to prepare.
This is lettuce wrap stuff.
Yep.
So this next recipe is the broiled chicken with herbs. And so there's a couple reasons I wanted to share this recipe. One is you can make extra, but also for chicken, I don't know about y'all, but a lot of times people, when they're trying to eat healthy, they think they have to have boneless, skinless chicken breast, which is fine. I'm a big fan as well. But we tend to eat dried chicken, right? And that's no fun at all. So if you buy chicken breasts, first of all, they're totally too large in today's world, but you'll notice there's usually a thin side and a thick side. So I pound mine out so that it's all one thickness, okay? So I'm just gonna give you an example of how I do it. I've already done what we're gonna cook with, but I have a meat mallet. I don't even know if they still make these, but any hard object that's flat will be helpful in a zip top bag. And I just beat it.
That's the way
right?
to get your frustrations
Yeah.
out.
So cooking is very therapeutic, really, unless you hate it, and then that could be a problem. But all right, so then basically it's the same thickness all the way through, and the purpose of that is that now it's going to cook evenly. So I don't have to overcook the thin side to get the thick side cooked.
Right.
Okay. So the other thing, because we're using boneless, skinless chicken breast, it is going to be has the potential to be dry. And so I'm going to add back a little bit of extra moisture using some extra virgin olive oil. You could use grapeseed oil. You could use organic canola oil instead, because we are going to broil this, so it will have a higher temperature. But again, I'm mixing it with meat, so that does change the smoke point of it. So I just kind of smear it. That's a technical cooking term, smear. Smear it on my chicken breast. Now that's been contaminated. And the reason I'm using gloves is because I want to be able to take off the gloves and then touch something without contaminating everything, right? Because I'm kind of weird about food safety. Would you open that? That's just a chicken seasoning blend. You can use whatever seasoning you want. I tend to like blends because it, again, doesn't mean then that way I only have to pull out one seasoning. I don't have to pull out 5 bottles. And I like to cook, and I still don't want to pull out half the kitchen cabinet just to make food, right?
Right.
So put on or shake on a little bit, whatever a little bit actually means to you. This is a salt-free seasoning, so you could put a couple pinches of salt over this as well if you wanted to, but I'm gonna serve it with lemon in the end, and so I'm not gonna add any salt. And what lemon does is it binds with your salt receptors on your tongue, so you do not actually need as much salt when you cook with lemon.
Wow.
So that's, again, one of the purposes of sharing this particular recipe. So then we're gonna broil this for 5 minutes on each side, and then it will come out cooked. And then I'm gonna top it with herbs. Heather, would you mind sticking that in the broiler for me? Sure. I'm sorry. So I wanted to show you about my herbs. As I mentioned, I kind of like to cook. I cook for a living, and what I have noticed, just even amongst myself, is that I have herbs growing on my back porch, and I don't often go and get them and use them. And so I have another friend who's a chef, and I went to one of her cooking classes, and she said, oh, just go get whatever you have off the back and use it. Like, I'm always like, well, what goes with what? And like, sometimes I'm not as intuitive as I want to be. And so that was her tip to me. And so that's my tip to everyone else, is go get what you have on your back porch or in your refrigerator and use it. Don't be so crazy about if it goes with everything. So here's what I have left after freezing my herbs. So I have some parsley. This is oregano. What else do I have? And my rosemary. I'm probably the only person in the world who can kill a rosemary plant.
No, I do really well. I've gotten them several times.
I'm getting better at making my plants live, but I'm still pretty bad at it. So I may need to buy a rosemary plant soon because this one is on its last leg.
We got you. Down at New Life, they have all the herbs that you can buy.
That's where I'll be getting my next. Oh, and I have some mint. I never would have thought to add mint, but she said just throw it in. You know, now I didn't put a lot of mint in here. Other thing about stems, this is parsley. See, it's got a really flexible stem. You can chop that right on up in there. Okay, so I'm just throw it all in there. Rosemary's stems are hard, so you don't want to put those in there. Okay, so there's my rosemary, and my oregano also kind of has a hard stem. Partially because I'm not a good gardener. Okay, what you get at the store.
I want to tell you, Tamara is a great gardener, and she grows her things in hay.
I've heard of that.
And she had the most beautiful garden. She did in hay, right, honey?
I do the hay bale garden, yes.
Hay bale gardens. You gonna do it this year again?
Yes. Actually, Chris is making me boxes to keep it in this year. But I had the best produce. And I mean, it's the easiest because I don't have to go out there and weed. He's an engineer, so he hooked up the sprinkler system. It came on automatically on a timer, so I didn't have to do anything.
Plants do need water. I have learned that.
Yeah. So all I had to do was go out and harvest. And then
awesome.
check to make sure the bugs stay out. But it was awesome. Best garden I ever had.
That's cool. I'll have to try that.
And you know what? She found out slugs go on strawberries. So she found out if you'll get some beer and put it in a little dish,
It keeps them away?
it keeps them away to go into
Interesting.
the beer.
I didn't
and
want to put
kills them.
pesticide on my strawberry plants.
Right, sure.
And so if you take a shallow dish of beer and put it out, next morning I had about 50 slugs that had drowned in the beer.
But I got to tell you what happened.
Because they love the beer.
Michael came to me. He says, "Grandma Dorothy, Mama has beer in the garage. Come, throw it away. Throw it away."
That's hilarious. How cute.
Isn't it?
All right, so I'm going to chop the herbs. And so to me, the best way to do that is I just ball them up in my hand, all together like that. And you always put your hand like the claw, they say, or, the claw hold, so you don't chop yourself. And then you just run your knife through it, however much you want. And I don't know if you remember, but when I'm cooking that chicken, I'm running it under the broiler. So that's pretty high heat. So if I were to put these fresh herbs under that broiler, it would just
Cook them.
they would just not be worth anything.
Yeah.
So what I do with my herbs is I will sprinkle them on after it comes out of the oven. And then that way the heat from the chicken will still kind of cook the herbs a little bit and release their flavor without overdoing it. Same thing if you're grilling. If you're going to grill chicken like this on the grill, especially in the summer, is take sprigs of rosemary from a plant that's more alive than mine and lay that down first and put your chicken over it. And that will decrease the carcinogens that form from grilling.
Wow.
So there's a couple little cool tricks you can do with that. Now you wouldn't then use those rosemary herbs for flavoring at that point, but they would impart some flavor and protection to that meat. So that's a pretty cool tip.
Now, is it bad to grill your meat?
So grilling is usually at a higher heat, and so that will produce some carcinogens. So the idea there would be just to grill over a softer heat, a little bit lower heat. The other good thing about pounding the meat like I've done there is it's going to grill faster. Yeah. And then again, you can do little things like putting the herbs down first. Now vegetables, when you grill vegetables, no carcinogens at all. So grill more vegetables. So the theme is eat more vegetables regardless, and you're going to be going in the right direction for sure.
And how many people grill vegetables?
I don't know.
That's a very good
But
thought.
they've got those grilling baskets out now too. The other thing about grilling or cooking meat is always use a meat thermometer. So you don't have to overcook your meat to get it done, but you also want to make sure that it is cooked properly. So for the chicken, it's 165. Or any ground meat would also be 165. But that's the other thing we learned is if you cook it at the right temperature, you don't have to dry it out.
See that man standing behind the camera right there?
I do.
He will eat raw hamburger. Tell him how bad that is for him.
It is.
Eat the whole burger. I have a couple of pinches.
Yeah, a couple of
So
pinches.
you're calling him out on air, though.
That's
so.
okay. I didn't say who it was.
Europeans will eat a whole raw burger.
But
I didn't say who it was. But
I
say
don't
how
think it's
good
a
it
wise
is.
practice, I'll have to say.
Tell him why.
Why? Because there's
Bacteria.
E. coli and other bacterias in there.
My stomach eats them all up.
So, but there, listen, my grandmother used to keep ham out on the porch, and that was where she kept it, and we ate off of it. I know, but I still don't think it's the wisest situation to be in.
Thank you for telling that person that, because I've been trying to tell that
Not
person
healthy.
that. Not healthy at all. All right, so now, has that been
So
5 minutes?
I have no idea.
5, I didn't hear how
That's
long. Yeah,
another
it's been
problem I
5
have in
minutes
my
for
home
sure.
kitchen is I forget to turn on the.
But it's just been 5 now.
I forget
did look at
to
the time.
turn on the
So take it out.
Broiler?
timer. I
Timer.
forget to turn on the timer.
Kim, do we need to flip it? It's been 5 minutes for the
It
chicken.
has been. We can flip it.
Okay.
I think this is what I
bring it
use.
out and, okay, she's going to just flip it there. All right. Now that looks very white.
It's getting there. It's not done yet.
Okay.
No raw chicken today.
No raw chicken.
No, don't want to do that.
All righty.
This is another recipe I'd make a lot of and then save it.
Save it. Well, there you have it. I'm telling you what, you can make any of these recipes. They're all in her book. And this is an absolutely awesome book. Tammy just ordered hers. Do we have other orders? Bring them in here. We have orders coming in. Where are you? You need to get your book.
Go ahead.
We are making quinoa lettuce wraps. And again, we're following the theme of ways to make more than one meal at one time. So Kim made the herb chicken earlier, right? Which is its own recipe in the book?
Yes.
Now we're gonna take that chicken and use it as the protein in our quinoa lettuce wraps.
Wow.
Have you ever had a lettuce wrap?
Oh, no.
Today will be the day.
Today will be the day.
What you do is you get your hearts of romaine, right?
Yeah.
And find yourself a long boat. It's like a little
Yes.
boat. And we're gonna fill that up with this
Show
batch
me.
of goodness
now,
that we're gonna make.
Did you pre-cook your...
Yes. So that's one of the tips is pre-cooking the quinoa because you're going to cook it for 15 to 20 minutes, whether you make 1 serving or 10 servings.
Yes.
So you might as well make 10 servings.
Okay.
Right? And then I portion that out in about 1.5 cup containers and put it in a zip top bag and then put it in a freezer bag, store it in the freezer. So then when you need quinoa again, you just pull it out of your freezer.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So why cook it twice when you can
Twice.
cook it once? So that's the base
Okay.
of the quinoa wrap.
Okay, go ahead and make one.
And then we've already put in we have 5 green onions, scallions chopped all the way to the top. We have some fresh spinach, tomatoes, feta cheese. We need to also add 1 avocado, has been chopped and cubed. We're gonna put that in there. And I need juice of a lime. And what is that, Kim? That's our...
That is Greek seasoning mix, and this is the smallest bowl I could find to put it in. So we're just gonna put that in there to season it. So this recipe was not my original recipe. This is Sohaila's recipe. She's the other author on the cookbook. And so she commissioned me to help with writing the cookbook. And of course, I'm grateful to her because it's been a blessing in my life for sure.
Sure.
So this is her recipe. And as such, it's one of my favorites because sometimes, you know, when you make your own stuff over and over, you get sick of it. And since this was new to me, I fell in love with it. So this is a wonderful, wonderful recipe.
So you mix
I've
it
got
up.
everything
She's gonna
in there,
mix it.
right?
I'm gonna check the chicken.
Okay, so you're mixing it up.
We're just mixing all of those yummy ingredients together. And you know, feta cheese goes really well in quinoa. I've got another quinoa salad recipe that I do. And it's nice. It kind of binds it. I think you've tried that one. If you like feta. You know, and feta is sheep's milk, supposed to be.
Not dairy.
Not what?
It's
Not
actually
cow's
not
milk.
dairy. Now there are, if you're getting the inexpensive feta, it's cow's milk seasoned, flavored to taste like feta, but it's supposed to be sheep's milk. All right, so how beautiful is that? That is just
That's
gorgeous.
beautiful.
You're gonna get a big old chunk of avocado, feta, fresh spinach. This is how I like to eat. And you know, your body begins to crave what
Do
you
you
give
sell
it.
these down at your, in
Yeah.
your restaurant?
For sure. You know, your
Wow.
body craves what you give it. So that's why if you're hooked on bad food, it's hard to get off. But once
That
you
looks like a fish.
toughen up and go through it and give your body the good stuff, you literally will get to
I
the
will
point
say that after you
that
detox,
this is like,
yes, your
So
body
good.
craves, and you can taste like
Food again.
strawberries.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh my goodness, the
Yeah.
taste. Your taste buds change after you get rid of all the sugar and all the garbage.
It does. You can train your palate. That's what
Right.
they kind of call like training your palate. And the more you try things, the better off you're going to be kind of making that change to
Right.
your palate for sure. So if you just have the quinoa lettuce wrap just like this, straight up like this, as long as you are a vegetarian who consumes, you know, milk, cheese products, then that would be your vegetarian recipe. But you could totally add the chicken to that. And so we just
so are we gonna
do
spoon
some
it
of
up
them
and then put it
yeah,
on top?
Yeah, we'll just put the chicken on top because since it's took it a little bit longer to get cooked than I had anticipated.
So you're basically just giving yourself a nice little vehicle that's not a tortilla, it's not, you know, a carb.
How do you eat it?
Carefully.
Carefully. And if you want to, then you can come back and add chicken to the top or, you know, dice it and mix it in.
You could also just take it to lunch in a mason jar if you didn't want to do the lettuce, or just put the lettuce on top.
Wow.
Over there. There you go. Isn't that
Isn't
gorgeous?
that gorgeous? And look at the chicken.
we'll
looks
we'll
so
chop this
great
up and put it on
too.
at the
And we're going
end.
to put the chicken on the
Yep.
top. And then you just hold this up and eat it.
I'm going to take pictures
just
of
eat it
this,
like-
guys, so I don't forget it.
It's beautiful.
Look at this chicken.
You know, I mean, when you use fresh ingredients that are of high quality, then you have freedom to change.
Take a picture of that wrap, y'all.
It's beautiful, isn't
Isn't
it?
that pretty? Wow. Hey, you know what? We're almost out of here. Last minute stuff. You've got something going on at New Life?
Yes, absolutely. This weekend, this coming up weekend, we're having our Health and Wellness Weekend Festival. There is going to be a 20% off sale going on all weight loss and detox related items. We are launching another 24-day jumpstart in the info session. If anyone wants to join that, come to the store around 12:30 on Sunday. I'm giving a lunch and learn, and if someone wants to join, you can join for the next day. Kim's doing a freezer meal workshop Sunday afternoon. She does these workshops pretty regularly, and I would highly recommend them. So any information that someone might want about either of these items, you can go to our website at newlifeaugusta.com. You can call me at 404-213-8758, and I will get you in the right direction.